Hydroelectricity is the term referring to electricity generated by hydropower, the production of electrical power through the use of gravitational force of falling or flowing water. So, just how do we get our electricity from water? Actually, hydroelectric and coal-fired power plants produce electricity in a similar way. In both cases, a power. So, just how do we get our electricity from water? Actually, hydroelectric and coal-fired power plants produce electricity in a similar way. In both cases, a power source is used to turn a propeller-like piece called a turbine, which then turns a metal shaft into an electric generator, which is the mo- So just how do we get our electricity from water? Actually, hydroelectric and coal-fired power plants produce electricity in a similar way. In both cases, a power source is used to turn a propeller-like piece called a turbine, which then turns a metal shaft into an electric generator, which is the motor that produces electricity. A coal-fired power plant uses steam to turn the turbine blades, whereas a hydroelectric power plant uses falling water to turn the turbine. The results are the same.
Okay, the types of hydroelectric power consist of impoundment, which is the most common type of hydropower, which is used for large hydro systems, which stores water that is typically used for a reservoir. There's also diversion, also known as runoff water, which is most commonly used, and it channels a portion of water which is stored in a canal. And then there's also pump storage hydroelectric power, which stores hydroelectric energy through also wind and solar power by pumping it uphill, which generates lots of energy to be generated throughout the land where water power is used.
So basically, the theory is to build a dam on a large river that has a large drop in elevation. The dam stores a lot of water behind it in the reservoir. So near the bottom of the dam wall, there is water intake. Gravity causes it to fall through the pipe called the penstock inside the dam. At the end of the penstock, there's a turbine propeller, which I talked about before, which is turned by moving water. The shaft of the turbine goes up into the generator, which produces the power or electricity. Then power lines are connected to that generator that carries electricity to your home and mine. The water continues past the propeller through the tail trays into the river past the dam. By the way, it's not a good idea to be playing in the water right below the dam when water is released. It's very powerful and it can flush you away. Alright, so here's a diagram of a typical hydroelectric dam. So the dam wall is in gray, the water is obviously blue. So over here you have the reservoir, and as it's poured down in through the intake valve, through the penstock, it turns this turbine right here at very high speeds, which I talked about, and then it creates power in the generator in the powerhouse, which creates electricity, and then it ships through the power lines to another generator and then out to our houses or in businesses. But then where does all the water go? So as I said before, there's this trail pipe after the turbine that is the outflow river, which is very high speeds. All right, here's a diagram of the turbine I was talking about before. So basically, as water flows down due to gravity, it turns these blades, called turbine blades, which makes the turbine generator shaft spin constantly at very high speeds. And then at the top, we have the generator where the rotor and the stator rub together, which causes the electricity initially. And then it shoots up through the generator shaft up to the powerhouse where everything is distributed to different houses.
Some fast facts about hydroelectric power. Hydroelectric power is used worldwide by 20% of the world. Canada is the leading user of hydroelectric power, followed by the United States being the second user. Only 10% of the electricity used is produced by hydroelectric power. Hydropower is a great thing to use because it does not affect air pollution, noise pollution, and it also is very clean and it prevents the burning of oil, which would calculate to 22 billion gallons of oil if it was used, or it also eliminates the burning of coal, which would be 120 million tons of coal each year. So this is a really effective way to use hydropower, which can also benefit the planet essentially for future years to come.